Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a look at my May 2025 TBR. If you're interested in seeing what books I want to read this month, please stick around. As I said in my introduction, today's video is going to be a look at my May 2025 TBR. I have 6 books that are on my TBR for May, and just like I've been doing for the entirety of this year, I did use TBR cards from Floor on Sundays. Let's dive into my first TBR prompt, which is to read a book from the bottom of my list. Now, I think that this prompt can probably be interpreted a number of different ways. I'm really trying to read off of my physical TBR, and all of the books on my physical TBR are books that I'm interested in. So I decided to pick the book that was quite literally at the bottom of my list in terms of alphabetical order. And the last book on my TBR, based on alphabetical order, is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I know that this is a very, very popular book. I've heard really, really wonderful things about it, but I actually don't really know exactly what it's about, and I'm not planning on reading the synopsis on the back. I think I want to go into this one fairly blind. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe I got this in the young adult section, though I could be wrong because I have had it for a little while, but I'm very much looking forward to reading this with all of the positive things that I've heard about it. The second prompt that I had for my May 2025 TBR was to read a book with a 3-word title, and I definitely had a ton of books that could have fulfilled this prompt. A lot of them were books that started with the or a, and I kind of wanted to stay away from that for some reason, so I picked a book that has 3 words in the title. One of the words is A, but it's not the first word in the title. And that book is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. So this was published in 2020, but I feel like I've seen people talk about it more frequently in the last year or so. I do know that this is a fantasy, but I think it might be a historical fantasy, though there's a huge chance that I'm wrong about that. I know that this is part of a series. It's either a duology or a trilogy. I definitely don't need to start any new series, but I couldn't resist picking this book because it just keeps catching my attention, and I keep wanting to read it but never getting around to it, or never end up picking it for a TBR, and I felt like I absolutely needed to take this opportunity to pick this book, put it on my TBR, and get myself to finally read it, and I'm very excited about reading it. My third prompt for my May 2025 TBR is to read a book that was gifted to you, and I decided that this would be a great opportunity to read an ARC, something that has been gifted to me by a publisher, something that is coming out in the month of May that I'm super looking forward to. And the book I ended up choosing was The Love Haters by Katherine. I have really enjoyed the last couple of Katherine Center's new releases, and I'm very much looking forward to reading The Love Haters. I love the cover. I think it's so cute and perfect for this time of year when things are finally warming up. I was fortunate enough to get the digital ARC as well as an ALC from NetGalley, so I am planning on listening to this and reading it with my eyeballs on my Kindle, and I'm hoping to get to it very early in the month of May. That way I read it before its release date, which I believe is May 20th. Very much looking forward to it. I really honestly can't wait. I've kind of been saving this book to read it for once the weather gets warmer because of the cover, and I'm excited that that time has finally come. The fourth prompt for my May 2025 TBR is one that I've actually gotten before, but I didn't end up reading the book that I chose for this prompt when it was part of my TBR in March. I just didn't get to it, and that prompt is to read a book that features food on the cover. Now, I had a few different books that I could have chosen from, and I could have chosen the book that was on my March 2025 TBR, but I actually really don't feel like it's the right time for me to read that book, so I ended up going with something different, and that is Assistant to the Villain by Nicole Maehrer. I have heard really interesting things about this book. I've had it on my shelves for a while. I was fortunate enough to get a copy with the cute sprayed edges. I just feel like this has such an intriguing title, and I've just seen so many different types of readers that I follow on social media really enjoy this, and I'm thoroughly intrigued by it and so happy to finally be putting it on my TBR. And it fulfills this prompt because it has some apples in the top corner over here. The next TBR card for May 2025 says to pick a book with a couple on the cover, and I knew exactly what book I was going to pick for this prompt when I picked it up, and that book is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is her newest release. It came out on April 1st. I have not read it yet because this book came out in hardcover, and I have all of my Abby Jimenez books in paperback, and so I made the decision, since I'm trying not to purchase books this year, I've kind of put myself on a bit of a book buying ban, that I'm not going to purchase this book in hardcover. I'm just going to wait and purchase it when it comes out in paperback. And so I do have a hold on this audiobook through Libby, and I believe it's going to come through in the month of May. So I may not get to this until the end of the month, depending on when I get the audiobook hold. And I'm very, very excited to do so because I absolutely love Abby Jimenez's writing. The sixth and final prompt for my May 2025 TBR is to read a book with a strong female protagonist. And I'm sure there's a ton of different books on my shelves that I could have chosen for this. For some reason, this next book was the first thing that came to mind, and that is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I've actually never read anything by Ava Reid before, though I do have a couple of her other books. I was just thoroughly intrigued by the cover of this. I think it's so hauntingly beautiful, and I really don't know anything about Lady Macbeth because I haven't read Macbeth since I think I was in high school, if not high school, early college. I don't remember it at all. I don't know if I should read it before I read this. We'll see. I don't know if it's considered a classic, but maybe I could use it to fulfill my classics challenge that I have this year. But I'm assuming this is a strong female protagonist, and I'm just excited for something that I think is going to be very much out of my comfort zone. And that is it for my May 2025 TBR. I am very pumped about the 6 books that ended up on my TBR. I think there's quite an interesting variety of things on there, and books that are maybe a little bit more unique or less in my natural normal wheelhouse of what I tend to read, and I am super excited about that. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments about the books that I put on my TBR, if you've read any of them, please leave a spoiler-free comment down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.